What is philosophy? Here's a brief definition of philosophy. Philosophy is basically the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge and existence. In Greek, philosophy means love of wisdom. This is Tom. Tom wakes up every morning at 7:30. This probably might mean nothing to you, but there's actually a branch in philosophy which focuses on ontology and studies of space and time. This branch is called metaphysics and explores the first principles of things such as identity, space, and time. Not only is there one branch, but there are 5 more, which equals to 6 branches in total. The second branch of thought in philosophy is epistemology. Epistemology is the study of nature and knowledge. The third thought in philosophy is logic, which is developing valid arguments, which usually applies mathematical logic. The fourth thought in philosophy is politics. This is the study of government and citizen rights. The fifth thought is aesthetic. This focuses on art and artistic perception. The last thought in philosophy is ethics, and this is the study of right and wrong and how we should live. Many questions can be derived from the subject time. Let's take the question, is the present real, for example. When Tom was a little boy, he had a toy bear. Unfortunately, he threw the bear into a bonfire and the bear was completely demolished and vaporized off the face of the planet. The question here is the bear real? Because the bear isn't physically here right now, but it was in the past. To question and to wonder is actually the most important thing in philosophy. Asking a question is actually more important than answering one. If no one is skeptic about their surroundings, then no one will be able to acquire new knowledge. You might not realize, but we ask many questions each day. Is that fleshy boneless piece of meat from an animal called fillet or fillet? What's tartar sauce? Okay, so Tom wants to find out what's tartar sauce. So he finds out that tartar originates from France. He finds out that the ingredients in tartar sauce are vinegar, mayonnaise, oil, mustard, eggs, and herbs. But then he starts to wonder, why does it taste so tangy? Later, Tom went to Wikipedia, Google, merchant records, and history books to find out the history of tartar sauce. What I'm saying is that in philosophy, more questions will arise from a big question, and there is no definite answer. As you can see here, Tom is moving his quadriceps and his latissimus dorsi as he walks. Science and philosophy are actually heavily interconnected. One cannot develop without the other. Philosophy always uses scientific discoveries to broaden their reasoning. Many fundamental theories in science were first expressed by a philosophical thought. For example, Democritus was the Greek philosopher who came up with the idea of the atomic structure. Philosophy isn't only found in science, but also in mathematics. The Greek philosopher Pythagoras was the philosopher who discovered the Pythagorean theorem. Not only that, but Pythagoras is the philosopher who discovered that music notes can be translated into mathematical equations. He came up with this belief when he was walking past a blacksmith one day and heard the sounds coming from the anvils. This is actually the first thing that a philosopher does when answering a question, and that is to have a belief. The next thing a philosopher would do is test the validity of the answer. Pythagoras actually went back to the blacksmiths to examine the tools. He came to the conclusion that the sounds were created because the hammers were simple ratios of each other. Other philosophers will then judge and critique that answer. In Pythagoras' case, other philosophers actually did critique his answer, and they actually found out that his answer was wrong. And it wasn't the weight of the hammers that created the sound, but actually the length of the hammer.
There's a cheerful little earful, gosh, I miss it, something fearful. And this cheerful little earful is the well-known I love you.
Not only that, but philosophy opens up your mind and gives your life dimension. You will also make wise decisions because you think ahead and you think deeply. People who study philosophy tend to be more successful. These people include Martin Luther King, Ed Broadbent, and Steve Allen. I'm actually a philosopher right now because what is philosophy is a philosophical question.
I love you.
More like philosoption. The end.